Hello, I'm Father Jamie Matthias, pastor of Holy Family Catholic Church here in Austin, Texas. I'm excited today to be able to introduce you to our ISM database version 3.0, what I like to refer to as the ISMDB, a way for us to create a more comprehensive view of the Independent Sacramental Movement, of which those of us who are part of Independent Catholicism are part. The idea for ISMDB, the Independent Sacramental Movement Database 3.0, actually arose from a need here at Holy Family Catholic Church. Prior to the pandemic, we had 200 to 300 people attending Mass every Sunday. And from time to time, I would have the question, Father, I'm traveling to such and such a city, to Boston, to New York, to San Francisco, to Denver. Is there a place where I can go to Mass in those cities? Now, there are possible responses. Certainly when we founded Holy Family Catholic Church 9 years ago, my first response was, I don't know. I didn't know independent Catholic communities in those cities well enough to be able to recommend anyone to them. Another possible response, when I shared of that dilemma of having to respond to parishioners' questions, I had the response of one clergy member who said, well, why don't you just recommend them to a Roman Catholic parish in that city? That to me was not an amenable response. And so what I did was I started scraping together the information from various jurisdictions and Eucharistic communities within the Independent Sacramental Movement, within Independent Catholicism. And I created a spreadsheet which has now grown to nearly 3,000 clergy. You can see that many of them are independent Catholic clergy, over 1,700 independent Catholic clergy, over 660 Anglican or Episcopalian clergy who are part of the independent movement, 225 Orthodox clergy, 80 Celtic clergy, 45 non-Catholic Christian clergy who enjoy apostolic succession, and 40 clergy who I lump into the bucket that I refer to as Esoteric, Gnostic, and Johannine. So that was a resource for us here at Holy Family Catholic Church. When people came to me and said, Father, I'm traveling to a certain city, where can I go to Mass in that city? I was able to look at that spreadsheet and to be able to make various recommendations to them, but that wasn't publicly available. And so this is our attempt to be able to make all of this information publicly available for the first time. For those who may not be aware of the history of independent sacramental databases, there was what I refer to as version 1.0 created by Father Tony, which has now been taken down from the internet, but was available previously at ind-movement.org. According to Bishop Gregory Godsey, that site was up through roughly 2005. And then Bishop Gregory Godsey created what I now refer to as version 2.0, which is www.independentmovement.us, which is a current website. You can visit that website. There are some 200 to 300 clergy found in that directory. One of the challenges that we had was that we submitted our parish's information for the clergy to that directory twice, and so there are obviously challenges when one person is leading a directory. It obviously falls to that person to continually update that directory. So the thought that we had here in Austin, Texas is how do we create a wiki? For those who are aware of wikis, wikis are a way for users to be able to create the content so that any of us could go on at any time of the morning, noon, or night and update our information or the information of other clergy, other communities, other jurisdictions. So we refer to this as version 3.0 of the Independent Sacramental Movement database. It can be found at the link that you see here, everybodywikicom/independent sacramental movement. And since that was created this year in 2021, we'll see how version 3.0 goes. What's new in version 3.0? First of all, it's a wiki. We're excited by that. What that means for us is that for the first time now, anyone can edit this directory. So I just want to say, let's edit away. a wiki, the purpose of a wiki, a thing like Wikipedia, for those of us who've heard of Wikipedia, it allows for collaboration by all sorts of folks, so anyone can go on and edit any Wikipedia page for which they have permission to edit. And so in this case, this new Independent Sacramental database on Everybodywikicom allows everyone to edit his or her own information and the information of others. One of the great things about this, though, is that you can also protect your page or your pages to prevent what's called in the world of wikis graffiti, when people try to purposefully change your entries in ways that might be harmful. So you can protect your page. So if you're worried about having information up online that someone might be able to change or tamper with, you simply protect your page. What's great about 3.0 is that it's several times larger. It's roughly 10 times larger than version 2.0, which we're excited about, making this a much greater resource for persons who are looking for clergy and communities and jurisdictions in the Independent Sacramental Movement. We also break apart the various branches of the ISM, so that, for instance, we pull together onto one page Independent Catholics, on another page we have Autocephalous or Independent Orthodox, on another page Independent Anglicans and Episcopalians, on another page Celtics, on another page those who belong to the Esoteric, Gnostic, and Johannine traditions, on another page those who belong to non-Catholic Christian communities, so that, for instance, here at Holy Family, we self-identify as Independent Catholic. So if someone in our parish is looking for another Independent Catholic community, then this helps us to separate out the Independent Catholic communities from those who belong to other traditions, including Independent Orthodox, Independent Anglican, Esoteric, Celtic, non-Catholic Christian, etc. So that's pretty exciting for us to be able to do for the first time here in version 3.0. In version 3.0, we also start separating the clergy into various buckets. We know that there are clergy who are actively involved in their ministries. We put them into the bucket of active clergy. Those who have retired or who are on leave or who've taken a leave of absence or who are not active at this moment, we put them in the inactive bucket. And then we've created also our necrology. A necrology is simply a place for us to be able to have an archive of all of our sisters and brothers who've preceded us to the Lord. So you notice on their pages, they have both a birth date, a birth year, and also the year or the date in which they were born into eternal life. Finally, we separate the jurisdictions into active jurisdictions and inactive or defunct jurisdictions. We're a very fluid movement. Jurisdictions pop up and go defunct, go inactive all the time. So this allows us to be able to separate those into various buckets. And finally, another thing that I really like about version 3.0 is that Everybodywikicom allows us to have larger photos. So when you click into it, rather than having a teeny tiny head in the screen, you'll notice some really nice photos for us to be able to really see what we look like. What is Everybodywiki.com? For those who may not be familiar with Everybodywiki.com, it's actually something that we stumbled onto quite by accident here in Austin. We were looking at another wiki platform called DocuWiki, and we were having some challenges with that platform. And then we were trying to enter in information, so I told my team to use my information as one possibility, to start entering my information into DocuWiki to see what it looks like. And they stumbled across a page that had my profile, my bio, on Everybodywiki.com. What happened was that Wikipedia has certain standards for notability. You have to be notable enough to merit an entry on Wikipedia. My campaign staff many years ago had created a Wikipedia page for me here in Austin, Texas. For 8 years, I represented a district of 55,000 voters, helping to oversee 80,000 students and 11,000 employees here in our 130 public schools here in Austin. But according to Wikipedia's notability standards, I am not notable enough at this time to have my own entry on Wikipedia, despite having all sorts of news articles on me, etc. So what happened was that Wikipedia was kicking all of these less notable entries that were not notable enough for Wikipedia to another website called Everybodywiki.com. So everybody can have a place at everybodywiki.com. The notability standards, just in the event that you're wondering, on Wikipedia, what happens is in order to be on Wikipedia, you need to have significant coverage in multiple reliable sources that are independent of the subject, which means that it's objective. And so Wikipedia prides itself for having fair, balanced, and neutral points of view, which is something we're not famous for in the ISM, in the Independent Sacramental Movement. You need verifiable, objective evidence to be on Wikipedia. And often for us in the Independent Sacramental Movement, we just don't have those secondary sources. We can't link to articles that have been written about us or various news about us as individuals or as communities. So we're lacking that. And also Wikipedia does not allow you to promote yourself. It's not a publicity tool. Whereas in everybodywiki.com, this is a great place for us to be able to promote ourselves and our communities, our jurisdictions, our ministries. So let's do it, right? So the question might arise, how do you start? You see something, so we've put something online with 2,800 clergy, and you may see something on there and you may not like it for whatever reason. That's great because it's a wiki, meaning that you can edit it yourself. You can move things around, you can change things, you can edit your information, you can protect your information. The first thing that you need to do is to create an account with everybodywiki.com. So go to everybodywiki.com. You'll see there, here highlighted in a red circle is the Create Account button. And once you click the Create Account button, you'll be led to a page that looks like this, where you can set up your own account. You need to create a username for yourself. Wikipedia recommends that you don't use your own name, rather that you use another name. So you'll be able to create a username for yourself. You'll be able to enter your own password. You'll have an email address that's optional there should you ever need to reset your password. And once you do that, you're ready to edit. So how do you edit your information? Again, the disclaimer that I want to start with is to say that there are lots of errors. We are such a fluid movement that I just put all this information into everybodywiki.com, and I know that there are all sorts of errors already because we are a fluid movement. Things are constantly changing. So edit away. The great thing about everybodywiki.com is that if you are a Wikipedian, if you've created any Wikipedia articles or done any editing on Wikipedia, then you already know how to edit in everybodywiki.com because it's the same platform virtually, the same coding. Some of the basic features on the main page, you'll see these 6 commands, if you will, or buttons. The page button allows you to see what the public sees. The discussion button, if you'd like to create any discussion on a certain page, if you have any questions or doubts, you can enter them into the discussion, and then anyone who visits that page can be part of that discussion on how to create a better page there. The edit button allows you to edit the page. The history button allows you to see the edits, so that, for instance, if you have your own page on everybodywiki.com and someone else comes in and edits it, you can just click on the history page and it'll show you everyone who's edited it. It'll show you all the changes that they made, and you'll be able to reverse any of those changes if you'd like to go back to a previous version of the article. The watch button, you click the watch button, or once you click it, it'll say unwatch. You watch or unwatch a page, click watch to be able to see any changes that are made to any given page. So you can watch pages and be alerted to the changes that are made to them. And then finally, the protect button is important because if you put your information up on everybodywiki.com and then don't want anyone to mess with it, you simply click the protect button and it makes that page your page. So how do we edit pages? There are 2 ways that you can add your page. What we did is we have uploaded all of the information from version 2.0 into version 3.0. So currently those are all the ones that are highlighted in blue that have links already. For you to create your own page, simply look for your name on the appropriate clergy page. Or you can, even if you don't want to look for your name, just start by pressing the contribute button, and then you'll see a drop-down menu, go to create a bio. You create your own bio, and then you can link that to your name on the clergy page. The other option is simply to find your name already on the clergy page, and then to highlight your name and press the link button, and that'll create a link that comes back to, that'll create a page that comes back to this link. Probably the easiest way to create page content is simply to copy the code from another page. So what happens is when you create a bio, which I don't like because they have various standard categories like early childhood, career, etc. You'll notice in our pages that we've created that we use different coding on the backside. So simply take a bishop or a priest or a deacon that already exists and copy the source coding, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. When it comes to editing, note that there are two buttons that you can press that are both beside the Save Changes button. The button that's immediately left of the Save Changes button allows you to view it in two different ways. You can either click Visual Editing to see what others see, or you can click Source Editing to see the code on the back side. It's that code which tells Wikipedia, or in this case, Everybodywikicom, whether to put something in bold, whether to put something in italicized, whether to include a link to something, whether to include a picture, etc. So the source editing is often what we as Wikipedians look at on the back side of anything, and it's that source editing then where you can simply you can copy the source code from another entry, copy it into your page, and then simply change out the details. Add your name, your date of birth, your jurisdiction, your ministry, etc. Some cautions as we get into all of this. We always want to assume good intentions of others. There's this crab mentality of some persons who just are always trying to bring others down and who complain. Let's, as part of this project, let's assume the good intentions of others. At least here in Austin, we are trying to create the most comprehensive ISM database possible, and we just presume everyone's good intentions. Let's take people's edits as information rather than taking them personally. If someone changes something that you did, don't take it personally. Just take it as information. We're all human beings. We're all trying to make this the best possible site. And so let's work together toward that end. Let's also be careful that we only use publicly available information for other people. What we share about ourselves is our business. If you want to share your phone number, go for it. If you want to share your photo, great. But when it comes to other people, let's only share phone numbers or photos or other personal information if it's publicly available. So the example that I use here is of Facebook. When people put information on Facebook, they choose various settings. So if they share a photo publicly on Facebook, then it's a public photo. Then by all means, I would encourage us to use public content on the internet. But if you have a friend's phone number in your phone, but it's not a public number, then let's not be sharing that. If we are posting phone numbers, what you'll notice that we did when we copied version 2.0 now into version 3.0, what we did was we cited the sources so that you can see that Father Jamie didn't take anyone's cell numbers out of his cell phone. Instead, he took it from this website, this jurisdiction's website, or this Eucharistic Community's website, so that way we're not exposing other persons. We're simply sharing publicly available information for ourselves and for others. And finally, all information on jurisdiction websites is public, so let's cite our sources, and that way no one can say, well so and so shared my phone number and I didn't give them permission. Well, actually we can say it was posted here and that's where we got it. I'd like to take just a brief moment before we talk about what's next to be able to share a screen and be able to look at, let's see if I can escape from this for now and show you the actual page. So I'm hopeful that you're now seeing the page This is everybodywikicom. And I did the word search for Independent Sacramental Movement. You'll see a description of the ISM. After that, then you'll see the various pages that we've created for Catholicism, Independent Catholicism, Independent Orthodoxy, Independent Anglicanism and Episcopalianism, Celtic Christianity, Esoteric, Gnostic, and Johannine Christianity, and other Christians. So if you click into Independent Catholicism, for instance, you'll get a description of what Independent Catholicism is. We try to embed various links. And then you'll see that we go into the Independent Catholic Clergy list, for instance, and that's where we start seeing 1,700 clergy. We've uploaded some of them already from the ISM database. And so you'll see any of them that are highlighted in blue, for instance, Bishop Thomas here in California. If we click on his, we took his information from 2.0. So you'll see how it is that we created something based on all publicly available information on Bishop Thomas. 1,700 clergy. So for yourself, if you find your name on the list, simply highlight your name. And then there are these edit buttons then where you can start coming in and editing your own information. For the sake of this demonstration, I'll simply click onto my page to be able to show you. This is the page that my campaign created some years ago that was knocked off of Wikipedia and placed on Everybodywikicom, but it has various sections. And then to be able to edit it, and you see the hot links embedded in various things, so that if anyone's interested in any of the books that I've written, I simply put all my books up there and you can click into that and it takes you to a link on Amazon or wherever that book is available. So let's see how it is that we do the editing. Up above, there's the edit button. Once you do the editing, there are two ways you can view it. Either you can see the visual editing, you can edit what it is that people see right here, right? If you want to change anything that you see. This page is not protected, so if you want to come and edit my page, hey, edit away. But here, beside the Save Changes button, is the drop-down menu where you can look at it visual. The visual editing is what we're seeing now, or you can go down to Source Editing, and that shows you the code behind the page, and that's where it becomes more interesting, because then, for instance, when you see something that you like on someone else's page, you simply copy and paste their source coding. Like if you see a bishop whose coat of arms is displayed there, and you're thinking, well, how did they display their coat of arms? Simply look at the source coding, copy that, and then put in your own information, put in your own coat of arms, your own name, etc. So that's the source coding. You'll see how it is that Wikipedia and Everybodywiki.com has this coding in the back to tell the computer what to make bold, what to make italicized, where to add links, etc. So it's that source coding. And once you've edited anything that you want to edit, at the bottom of the page, there is a Save Changes where you can save any changes. You can make a summary there, or you can write what it is that you changed in the summary box so that anyone who looks at the summary, the history of that page, can see what you changed. And if it's a minor edit, you can just put that it's a minor edit. What's great about everybodywiki.com is that you can click on the history of the page, and I can see everyone who's made any edits to my page. You can see the number of characters that they added. Someone came in and added 11 characters on March the 16th. Someone came in and added 5,000 characters to my entry on March the 16th as well. I might want to check that out and see what people did, that they added 5,000 characters to my name. So you can go and review the history, and you can always undo. You can always go back to a previous version of it if you don't like what they've written, or you can edit away yourself. That's the great thing about now having an ISM database that is a wiki, is that all of us can contribute morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Let's create the best possible reference for ourselves as a movement. That is the introduction that I'd like to share with you for now. Maybe in future videos we'll share more. What I'd like to do is simply to come back to this closing slides here. And now that we've talked about the cautions, I'm hopeful that you see on the screen what's next. Our hope is that it seems that this is a good solution for now, to go from version 2.0 with some 200 to 300 names now to this new wiki with nearly 3,000 names that we can all be editing together. We're hoping to make it more complete. For instance, there are a lot of clergy who are not yet entered, There are many persons who are part of the Independent Catholic Movement. For instance, our friends of the Philippine Independent Catholic Church, they claim to have 6 to 8 million people. My estimate in one of my recent books on the Philippines, Aglapayan, suggests that they're probably closer to, say, 800 to 900,000 independent Catholics in the Philippines. That's a lot of clergy who are not yet part of this. So we're hoping to enter more clergy into this to make it more comprehensive. After that, we're hoping to add Eucharistic communities and jurisdictions. If you want to go and get a start on that, we took all the jurisdictions from version 2.0 and we've tried to divide them into the active and the non-active or defunct jurisdictions. We welcome help in that respect as well. We're very much about creating uniform profiles for clergy. And so if you see that you've created a profile with things like childhood, career, etc., don't take offense, but what we might do is we might come in and help to make your profile look more uniform to others, unless you've protected it, which allows you to be the only one to make those corrections. Again, let's only use publicly available data for other persons. What you want to share about yourself is your business, but with other people, let's make sure that we're only using publicly available data, publicly available contact information, publicly available photos, etc. We're hoping to add the ordination and consecration dates of everyone so that with hot links, you can be able to trace them back and be able to show how it is that this person was consecrated by this person. Click on the links, and keep going backward to show how it is that our consecrations go back to Roman Catholic and other lines of apostolic succession. So we're hoping to do that and to make the necrology more complete. We're going to build that out. And then finally, the other dream that we have here in Austin is to build an app based on all of this. We'll call it our ISMDB app. For those of us who know IMDb, the International Movie Database, this would be a similar sort of thing, but for the ISM and with geolocation, meaning when I land in a city, if I am traveling, I simply click on the ISMDB app on my phone and it'll bring up the geolocation. It'll tell me who are the clergy and the communities and the jurisdictions that are closest to me. So, sisters and brothers, it's been exciting to be with you. I am going to leave you now, but if you have any questions or comments, you can message me. Our team here in Austin all uses the same login, which is IndyCath. So if you have any questions, you can message all of us on IndyCath and one of us will get back to you and help you with anything that you need. You can also call or text me. My cell number is public information, 512-826-0280. Or if you prefer email, you can email me at editor@extraordinarycatholics.faith. I conclude, I am fond of saying teamwork makes the dream work. Sisters and brothers, let's work together as a team. This is not Father Jamie's project. This is not one person or one place's project. This is something that all of us can be proud of, to contribute, all of us working together as a team to create the most comprehensive possible database of the ISM, of all of our clergy and communities and jurisdictions. Wouldn't that be cool for us to say that we all worked together to be able to create this dream, to make this dream a reality? So thank you for your time. This was our first video of an introduction to the ISM database. Please respond with any comments and we'll see if we can make future videos to continue helping one another out as we all learn, as we all sign up for an account with Everybodywiki.com and figure out how to edit, because these are transferable skills. Once you learn to do it on Everybodywiki.com, then suddenly you can be a Wikipedian as well. Get onto Wikipedia and start helping us to improve all the content that we find there as well. Thank you all for your time. Blessings to you. Let's work together and make this dream work. Version 3.0 of the ISM database. We're excited and we look forward to your help. Have a great day.